Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Sweet Shots Podcast, episode 21. Lucas Johnson alongside Mark Johnson and Chuck Johnson, back with another phone interview. We're blessed today with the great presence of Chris Geiss. I don't know your exact title, Chris, if it's director or it's with the Dakota Junior Golf Association, correct?
I guess my true title is the executive director for the Dakota Junior, and I'm also the assistant director for North Dakota Golf Association. So we use titles loosely around here. We just all get together and make the work happen. So kind of like you guys there, we know how it goes.
Yeah, that's great. So heavily involved with junior golf in the area, which having grown up in it myself, very thankful, very impressed with what you guys are doing, the moves you're making, because there is some high level talent around the area. And I believe we've talked about it with Tom Hoagie, who we had on the show. We've talked about it with Amy Olson, just the exposure for these kids, the ability to go out and play these events and grow the game that way is fantastic. So thank you for all your work you're doing around here. It's not gone unnoticed.
Well, thanks. We appreciate that. That's kind of been our goal is to, since I've been involved now for 15, 18 months, it's kind of been our goal is to bring some of that bigger event feel to North Dakota. I felt like, my story, and I've said it enough, but I'll quick run through it with you guys, is, I owned my own business and raised my kids, and my son was really into junior golf. So from the time he was 5 through age 18, we traveled the country. And when he was about 15 or 16, I had an opportunity to get involved with Dakota Junior, and it just didn't work yet because I wanted to watch him play more and stuff. But the whole time I was always taking notes of, hey, why can't we have some of these events like this up in North Dakota? There's no reason that our kids should have to travel 500 miles or a family should have to spend thousands of dollars to get to a big event. And, last summer we did our best to start the expansion. And I think if you've looked at our schedule this year, our expansion is statewide, up and down the Red River Valley, up and down through the centers of the state. We've added some big events now that'll be junior golf scoreboard ranked. Obviously, Lucas, you're familiar with that and how important that is. We've also done some things on the DJGA side to get scores so that the events are world golf ranked, world amateur golf ranked. I think it's just taken the ins and outs of making that happen. And, our board is very aggressive and they're willing to let me run with some of those things. And it's almost, I hate to say this, but I'm more of an ask forgiveness guy, and I'll just go make things happen. And, if something goes wrong, then we'll solve it. But for the most part, it's been really positive. And the feedback we've gotten just in the last year has been, taking events to places like Fargo Country Club and making top, qualifying events where they advance to junior worlds and things like that. And that's what we've always wanted for the last 15 years. And some of those big events went away. So being able to bring those here and as part of our expansion is really exciting, and it's just going to continue to grow.
Yeah, well done, Chris. This is Mark. To have a presence in the eastern side of the state, what's been the challenge? Is it just a course availability, or has it just literally been giving it some attention? You've been fantastic from my seat watching you operate. You seem to get things done, and you get them done in a hurry. You have a plan to get them done. What's been the reason maybe why we hadn't had that presence of the Junior Golf Association in this side of the state? Can you attribute it to anything?
I think the biggest thing was up until 2 years ago, Tim Doppler did the majority of all the planning and all the scheduling, and obviously with DJGA and with his job at Riverwood, he's super busy. They would have somebody in the summer position that would just go, area to area to run the events. And finally, when, Tim talked to me about taking over, and I knew what Tim's vision was. Tim's wanted this thing to blow up just like he's, the DJGA, you look at what Tim's done with that and expanding that and making those events better. That's always been the vision of everybody over here. And finally with myself, it's just been, okay, if I'm going to take this position, we're all in. We're not going to. And so, the first thing I said is there's no reason this isn't a statewide event. The kids from Fargo shouldn't have to travel all the way to Minneapolis or even further to play in a big time event. There's no reason that, we're not hosting the type of events that are getting the South Dakota kids to come here and the Montana kids to come here. And, you look at the Bismarck to Fargo corridor. Look south and west, there's nothing for junior golf. I talked to Wyoming, I talked to Montana, I talked to Tom in South Dakota a lot. There's no major events. And I think that's our next step is, this year we've added the Missouri River Classic, which is a 3-day event over Father's Day weekend here in Bismarck. It's not only juniors, but it's also got the adult division. That's going to become a really big deal. We've got some qualifying spots from there. So I think the biggest thing as far as coming your way, Mark, was just somebody to have the vision and the time to make it happen. It takes time to organize and make a schedule and, hey, who's going to be there? And, the first thing I did is as I was working last year, I was, I know some of these high school coaches very well. I spent 5-6 years as an assistant high school coach while my son was playing. I got to know these guys. I identified a couple of guys who kind of fit our vision, Brock Ellingson at Fargo Shanley and Aaron Knodel at West Fargo Cheyenne have both been very successful. And not only very successful, Brock is super committed to the game of golf and he loves it. And his teams continue to grow and get better. And Aaron Knodel, he's got sons that are involved in the game. He's got a son that's going on to play college golf at the University of Mary. They've been very successful. So first thing I did was bring those two on board. They're going to be our summer staff to the east and run our events over the east. So they worked on scheduling and stuff like that. The next thing we did is identified a couple college kids that can come on our staff that have been very successful. Obviously, the first one is Jake Scarproot. He's going to be part of our summer staff. So, once we put some names like that and some people like that in place, the next thing was simply to just find a golf course. And, one of the things Dakota Junior does that I like is we don't come asking for your golf course for free. We pay for the access, and so it's a give back to the golf course. It's not just, oh, hey, can we have it? And we know golf courses want to give to the juniors, but when you're filled with a scramble every day and men's day 3 days a week and ladies' day, and you're looking for it's hard to find. And we go tee times with our events, which also makes it a little easier. We don't have the shotgun that ties you up all day. Give us 3 hours of tee times, let us bang it out, we'll get it going. So once we got to that point, and then it's like, how are you ever going to crown, like everybody else does, a true state champion, a true state junior champion, unless you're out touching everybody? And that was, just a big step for us. Is once we got James, we've gotten as far as Jamestown, and then last year we started with the Russ Newman Invitational at Fargo Country Club, and that brought the 80 best players, or 66 of the 80 best players in North Dakota. And then the next step was, hey, we need to be up and down the Red River Valley. And that was always our goal from day one when I took over, was how can we get up and down? And this year we're 2 events in Grand Forks, 4 events in Fargo. We're a little further south. We're down to Wapaton. We've got, I think we're even over in Moorhead for one I don't have in front of me. But those guys did a nice job of adding those. And, I think, our goal at Dakota Junior, and I think this is important for everybody that's listening to know, is, and you've noticed this, Mark, in our communications, is we're just here to expose junior golf, right? I mean, that's what we want. We don't care. We do a ton of work with the Minot Junior Golf Association, which is very successful. We're here to help promote your events. We don't need our name on everything. We don't need, I joke that the more events we have, the more money it costs us, but that's fine because that's what we're here for. But, if you've got something going on and you're in Linton or Botno or New Salem, we want to promote that junior golf event, and that's what we're here for. So once we've gotten everybody on that page, we realize that, hey, we're just here to help expose more kids to the game. And we've got several new things, and we'll talk about those in a bit here, I'm sure. But that was the biggest thing, is just the time to plan. How do you put it in place? How do you make sure? And we had to put good people in right away. So now when we have 5 or 6 of our staff members show up at an event, I kind of jokingly tell the pros, hey, on the days we come, we'll have 6 people on the course. You take the morning off and go play somewhere. We'll take care of things. We'll make it easy on you. You don't have to babysit. We'll have 6 guys there. Somebody will be on the first tee. 5 guys will be on the course. We'll make sure everything's handled. And that was, the guys out west here who we've run events with, they see that that's how smooth things run. So we're really excited about the future and where it can go as far as we continue to expand.
Yeah, congratulations. You got a roadmap, and it looks like you got everything in place to be able to execute it. That's fantastic. So these tournaments, it's not just I think it's not just players events, correct? I mean, you're offering programs or events for kids of all abilities. Is that a fact?
Right. Yeah. I mean, we start with our, in this year, we haven't added the beginners tour to the East yet, just because of the time. We want to walk first and then run. But for instance, in the West now, we've added beginners tour events also, they're only 9-hole events. We have them in the evenings, and I jokingly refer to them as Little League golf, because we want grandma and grandpa and mom and dad to come watch. Dakota Junior Golf, we run about almost 1,900 kids through lessons here in Bismarck, Mandan, of all ages. And, it always used to be, okay, well, they can't start playing in these events till they're age 10. And then last year I added the beginners tour, which we started with ages 5 through 7 was our youngest. So then it was the biggest thing was, okay, now they've had lessons let's go see him in action. Just like, what's the best part of Little League Baseball or junior hockey or soccer? It's the Saturdays when it's game day and mom and dad can come, watch you play and you cheer for a good pass or you cheer for somebody that scores a goal. We want to see him make that 15-foot putt and everybody claps, or somebody hit a great chip. And, so that's how we've kind of exposed it. And what we like with the beginners tour is we know kids are busy with hockey. They're busy with baseball in the summer. They're going to basketball camps, on that beginners tour side, which we're starting to expand also. Hey, go do all those other things, but come play golf once, every other week, try a golf event just to see if it's something you're into, So that's on the tournament side. And then, we started something that's very popular, and we're doing it with you guys now at Sweet Shots on March 25th also. And we only announced it yesterday for Sweet Shots, but we've already been filled with emails, but it's called the New to Golf event. And basically what it is we just want people to bust down that door of how do you ask the first question. And if you didn't grow up in a golf family or you're young golf, I use the example of the 30-year-old who's got 2 kids, and the dad was a college football player and mom played college volleyball. And walking up to that clubhouse to ask the first question of where do we start is really hard, correct?
Right. Yeah,
It's not easy.
Yeah.
So with this New to Golf event that we're doing on the 24th here in Bismarck and on the 25th at Sweet Shots at your place, it's a chance just to get that first introduction. Like, hey, come here. We'll show you what's next. And I know it sounds funny to those of us that are all who've been a long time in the golf community to ask that question, but I go back to talking about my daughter. She was big into rodeo, so you can imagine some of the conversations I had or phone calls I would make talking about what kind of things need to happen in a rodeo and stuff like that. But that's what we're trying to do with New to Golf, and that's where you talk about, it doesn't matter. Have you ever played? Have you never played? We can get you involved. We can introduce you to somebody that can give you a lesson, talk to you about the next thing that's going to happen. Tour Edge, we worked with Tour Edge. The pricing is fantastic just to get your kid a brand new set of clubs, or if you're a young adult or whatever. And that's what we're about. We're about growing it. We want these, for the last year, we talked about, developing the next group of lifelong golfers. And that's really what we want. We want to fill Sweet Shots. We want to fill Edgewood. We want to fill every golf course in Fargo and Bismarck and Jamestown for eternity with players. And I think the way to do that is by attracting these new families. And we've kind of changed our tune on Dakota Junior Golf. And at a lot of meetings, I'm like, hey, remember, we're also Dakota New to Golf. We want these 30-year-old families where nobody's ever touched a club, and we want to get them involved. So I think that's been really popular as we've grown.
Love it. Yeah, Chris, this is Chuck, and Mark and I absolutely appreciate this partnership, and we're excited to announce this as we look at bringing New to Golf, a new golf event coming here later in March. And when Mark and I came with the idea, like Sweet Shots, our vision as we grew up with parents that were in a position where they ran the junior program here in Fargo for many years, just seeing the opportunity to give families and young kids opportunity to be introduced to this awesome game is something that's super exciting for us. As we have people listening, how can maybe point us in a direction of they want to learn a little bit more information? If it's out west, as you guys talked about that beginners tour, or maybe with this new golf event that's coming, is that all on a website, or where can we point folks to, Chris?
Yeah, you can get everything at DJGA.org. That's our Dakota Junior website. We've got they can click right there now to order their clubs to be picked up in Fargo. It's also going to have the full schedules. One thing with our schedules is we don't do any registration until May 1st. The reason for that, for tournaments, is our schedules are out there. We don't do any registration until May 1st, and the main reason on that is families' plans change. We don't want to register too soon, and then the doctor's appointment or something came up. But yeah, it's all on DJGA.org. You can find us on Facebook, Dakota Junior Golf Association. You can follow us on Twitter at DAK Junior Golf. I think partnerships like we have with you guys, and it's been really cool. I mean, it started back when we had the NDGA event this winter in December there, and the one thing led to another, and then the next thing became, hey, I had a lot of reach out from your high school teams in your area saying, it's hard for us to find somewhere, and not all of our kids can always afford to pay to go to wherever, So then, Mark and I had great communication, and I know he had communication with you guys, and having the bay there that kids can just call ahead and schedule a tee time, and as long as it's open, they can get access. I mean, what a treat for these kids to have access to such a great facility and not have to, mom and dad not to have the pressure of how am I going to pay for that. I think that's been super popular. I mean, in our talks and our texts back and forth, it seems like it's worked really well for us. We do the same thing here at the Bubble here in Bismarck, so the kids can get on there for free as well. It was just our next natural step with the New to Golf event. also for the month of March, and we're just starting to send some stuff out on that. Mark and I have talked about for the month of March, we're holding a virtual long drive competition. All you got to do is take a picture of your long drive that you hit at Sweet Shots, send it to us on one of our social medias. At the end of the month of March, whoever in the adult divisions and junior divisions, men and women, whoever has the longest drives on the pictures gets free golf out of Medora Bowling Ball Pit. The cool thing about working with you guys and working with everybody to the east has been, there's a lot of great golf out here to the west, and there's a lot of great golf to the east. And I think that's just kind of our job at Dakota Junior and NDGA is bring everybody together. And I think you guys, seem excited to have somebody that's willing to put that together. And on my end of it, it's just been real easy with somebody who's excited as you guys are to make that happen.
Yeah.
That long drive contest, I think that's gonna be fun. I know it's we do kind of our own in-house leaderboards here, but to make it statewide, that's gonna be pretty cool. I think, and then throwing around a golf
range session, or it can be in a round, whatever they're playing on one of your machines. When they hit a long one, all I got to do is take a picture, stand by it, point at it, and send it to us on social, and we'll pick the winner at the end of the month. I think it'll be really cool.
Chris, is there age groupings there? Because I got no shot against LJ.
Actually, we're going to just follow our age groupings that we have that we do with NDGA. So we'll have a junior winner, we'll have an open division winner, we'll have a mid-am winner, and then we'll have a senior and super senior also. So we got all the divisions covered there. So once we start to see the scores post, we'll sort everybody into the correct division.
I love it. All right, I got a chance.
You got a chance.
A small chance.
Saying there's a chance.
There is a chance. Yeah, we've that you're running the same system at the bubble in
Bismarck.
In Bismarck that we do that top tracer, and there are some fun contests that whether it's long drive or closest to the hole. I know we did that last night, Chris. We're doing a fundraiser for a scholarship in and our dad's name, Lucas's grandfather. There's a scholarship at Shanley High School for golfers, and we've had an ongoing fundraising closest to the hole contest at Pebble Beach, number 7.
It's a hole in one contest.
Hole in one,
yeah,
actually hole in one.
Okay.
And no one's won the hole in one yet, but there's many fun games on that top tracer for sure.
It's amazing. In fact, we just solidified a deal here with our park board in Bismarck. We're adding 8 more bays to the upper level, so we'll have 18 bays. We have 10 that Dakota Junior has been involved in. We did a matching grant with them, so we'll have 18. And we just finished our winter kids clinics. We did free winter kids clinics. We had 160 little guys registered for them here in Bismarck.
Wow.
Ages 5 through 8. We play the Go Fish game on there. They just love the Go Fish game and all that kind of stuff, those kind of things. So that technology has been fantastic. The other thing I quick want to talk about is, and you've probably seen on our social media, is we started DJGA on campus this year.
Yes.
Jamestown did it as a test run for us. And what it is they host 3 days of free clinics. They use snag golf equipment on campus. They hold it in their field house, and then Dakota Junior Golf does some funding for their college teams. Huge numbers in Jamestown for that this year. Next year, we're hoping that all the college teams in North Dakota jump on board and let us put some money into their teams' budgets, and on the backside of it, provide some junior golf to the local communities as well. So that was very popular for us.
I would agree. I would think those colleges would jump on. Money's tight everywhere, especially those college programs. Lucas is nodding. Definitely. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be great. The work you guys are doing for junior golf, and like I said before, having grown up on it, to see the change, the accessibility, just the options that are available for kids. I mean, it's fantastic now. And you look at, how do you provide these kids with opportunities going forward outside of junior golf? I think there's a much clearer path, a wider path for these kids now that are looking to play, whether it is a Jamestown, UMary, NDSU, UND, whatever, or even going somewhere else and playing. That path has become much clearer for kids up here.
Absolutely.
More attainable.
Absolutely. And Mayville even just added a team. So that's another team in the area that kids can play at, and the number one question that comes through my inbox, believe it or not, on my email is from college coaches looking for young ladies to play golf.
Absolutely.
It's amazing how many, and if you've got a daughter that wants to get into it, I mean, it's crazy how many people are emailing me, hey, who are some of the best ladies. They, for whatever reason, they're constantly looking to fill some more golf scholarships for the ladies. So that's been very successful for us. We've got the Herbal girls. One of them is going to Baylor. One of them, I can't remember where the other one just signed. Off the top of my head, we've got several girls going to Black Hills State that were part of the Dakota Junior Golf program. So we've got boys, like you said, at UMary. We've got boys headed all different parts of the country too. So I think it's just, in the last 18 months, we put enough on the map to continue to make it go. But I think we can really continue to grow it more and more as the next 18 months go, to where it's all over the country with where kids are going to college.
I agree,
That's
Chris.
excellent.
Yeah, and I can speak as a parent of a college female golfer. My daughter Cassie graduated in 18 from Shanley, went to the University of Mary. The first 2 years she was there wasn't a women's program offered. They decided that they would start a women's program. She literally had not played golf for 2 years since high school, and went out for the program and became the captain her senior year and played in the number 2-3 spot. And it was one of the, one of the best experiences she's had her entire life. And it's not that she was the greatest golfer in the world. And that's what folks and parents need to know out there. There's opportunities for girls and women in college golf without breaking 90.
Absolutely.
It's out there.
And I think we're raising the bar as far as the quality and stuff but the depth of what they need to fill those spots, you're exactly right there. And I think that's what they need to realize is, these high school athletes that are playing 3 or 4 sports and shooting 88 at the state tournament, what would they shoot if they just focused on golf for a year, right? I mean, now they're shooting 77. And I think there's plenty of opportunity for that.
Well, Chris, I tell you what, your enthusiasm and your ability, as we're seeing, to promote junior golf, promote golf in our state and region, it's going to take a little bit of time. I think there's going to be benchmarks where you're going to see, our numbers are increasing, but when we look over the course of time, the impact of what you're doing, your association's doing, how we're all banding together to make this game grow, I think we're really going to see the benefits of that, a decade or more down the road. And so your passion comes through, and we're all nodding here.
Yeah.
We're really impressed with what the work you're doing, Chris, and we look forward to working with you
I
down the
appreciate
road.
that. And I mean, it definitely would not be easy without guys like you that are so easy to work with, and just love hearing the opportunities. I do a lot of things with Steve Kotzik, and we all know that Steve's been around the game of golf in North Dakota for as long as anybody. And there's days that he's like, I thought about that 25 years ago, but I just didn't know how to implement it. Let's do it. So, I mean, that's what it takes. I mean, just, let's throw it out there and see if it works. And if that doesn't work, we'll find a different way. But when it's guys like you that have facilities like you have, and you're willing to open your doors and work with us, that's as solid as it can get. We always look forward to that. So we appreciate all 3 of you guys.
You bet.
Yeah. Thanks, Chris. And as a previous junior golfer, thanks for all you're doing. It's fun to watch. And I know kids really enjoy competition. There's great competition around the area. So for our listeners, keep an eye on some of these leaderboards coming in and get kids involved. I think that's a great way to do it.
Well, we should get Chris on as the season and the golf season starts this summer. Chris, would have you back on and get an update on how.
Absolutely. In fact, let's do it face to face next time. I'll buy lunch.
Love it.
Awesome. Well, I'm always down for a lunch.
Careful what you wish for there, Chris.
Yeah.
Sounds great, guys.
Thanks
Awesome,
a lot, Chris.
Thanks so much.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Yep. See ya.
Yep. Bye.
That's Chris Geiss, everyone. That's he's the executive director, Dakota Junior Golf Association, and assistant director for the North Dakota Golf Association.
That's quite the title. He's got a lot going on.
Multiple.
Yes.
Multiple.
I like that the beginners tour concept, and I know he mentioned out west currently, but the idea of just introducing that game to young kids, and he's right. It's intimidating, and I can't imagine as a family walking up to a pro shop and like, what do you even ask?
What do you do?
Yeah, what do you do?
Yeah.
A lot of them, do I have to have my own clubs? That's where I think he gets it right, and being able to introduce that game to the young kids, that's awesome concept.
Right.
Yes, it's going to be fun to follow along, and I'm excited. March 25th, I don't think can come soon enough for us, and we talk about how we grow the game here as kind of an unconventional way for golfers to get introduced. I think the more relaxed, laid-back environment definitely plays into that, and I think it's going to be a fantastic time.
And that's the new to golf
new to
event,
golf
right? For
event,
here at
yeah.
Sweet Shots,
Yep.
where
I believe 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Yep.
to come up, pick up your clubs. We've got an hour bay time included in that, I believe.
If you purchase a set of clubs,
If you purchase a set of clubs
through the
Yep.
NDGA, you're going to get
DJGA
one of their.
Yeah.
It's all
affiliates. Yep.
Yep. So you can come and you can pick up your clubs, and you're going to get a voucher for an hour of golf. For those that already have clubs, perhaps,
Yep.
We'll launch more of our information, what we're going to do from 10 to 2 that day. But that'll be a great day to, if you say you already have clubs, or you have a grandchild that has clubs, or a son, daughter that you're not looking for equipment, but you're still looking for information about what's happening in the community as far as opportunities for instruction, and opportunities for playing. The Steve Widener FM Junior Tour has been a staple for 30 plus years.
Absolutely.
Here in our community, gives parents and kids a great opportunity there. I know Fargo Parks is launching a new program this summer as well. We'll probably get them on.
Yes.
So there are opportunities out there. Not that folks in town haven't been doing something, but what they're doing out west and bringing. I see this Players Tour giving kids an opportunity to have quality competition without having to drive to the cities. That's a big win.
Sure.
If it's going to be recognized by coaches.
Yes.
And that's the challenge there. But so there's a lot of great programs going on.
And the new to golf guys, sorry, is that this event coming for us in March? Is that for juniors only? If I'm an adult and I'm new to golf, is this partnering allow for adults as well?
Adults. And so there's varying prices as far as the set that you can buy. I think the juniors is as low as $100 for a brand new set of tour edges.
Okay.
But
But as an adult, I can come in that day
Absolutely.
too and get a discount on a set of clubs, and with a purchase, you get bay time as well.
Well, they want you to go online and purchase your clubs ahead of time. Okay. So you go to the Dakota Junior Golf Association.org. You order your set, adult, male clubs, adult, female clubs, junior. Then those clubs will be delivered to Sweet Shots, and you pick them up on the 25th.
Perfect.
But if somebody didn't take that avenue and came in the door and wanted, hey, I'm looking for a set of clubs, we'd get them a set of clubs.
Beautiful.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we better get into our first break here. That was a fantastic interview with Chris Geiss. Great to have him on. So we're going to take our first break. Stick around. We've got a lot to discuss for PGA and some DFS. So we'll be right back. This segment brought to you by Sweet Shots Adult Learn to Play program. We just had a great conversation with Chris Geiss about getting some clubs to introduce, but also some lessons. We get into some lessons here at Sweet Shots, our Adult Learn to Play program. It's a 4-week session. We do it on Thursdays, I believe. We switched it from Mondays. Now it's Thursdays, 5:30 to 6:30. Join myself, Lucas Johnson, and Jim Bigelow as we get you going on the how-tos of golf, over makeup of a golf set, some grip, stance, posture, some real basic stuff here. Adult Learn to Play program here at Sweet Shots begins March 23rd. Get signed up online at sweetshots.com under the Golf Academy tab. Hope to see you there. Let's get better today, guys. Let's get better today.
Beautiful. I think that's a great program, LJ. We just talked about the intimidation factor of trying to get into this game, walking up to a pro shop. You guys simplify the process, and it's non-threatening.
We had some tremendous success with it, even towards the end of the fall season there. People are hungry for the game, and I think getting back into the spring, we've been around for a little bit. We've done it. I'm really excited. We've kind of fine-tuned our process, so I'm looking forward to it. So, it's Jim's fantastic to work with. He's amazing at beginner golfers, and he's very good at simplifying the game. You talk about how complicated some of the questions are just walking in. Now you got to throw the mechanics of the golf swing in there, and we do a fantastic job simplifying it.
Yep.
And you're surrounded by others in the same skill level.
Exactly.
So it's the intimidation factor drops quite a bit. No one's going to be waiting on you. So
And the facility's fun.
And
it is a fun
so-
environment. Yes.
If you want to hit golf balls at the fish game, you can do that. There's no pressure.
And we do not bar any drinking during these lessons either.
So you can drink.
Yeah,
Yeah,
order a
like
drink
might
at your
even be
bay.
encouraged.
If you're over 21.
21 and over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Adult.
Yep.
Good
Yep.
call. Okay.
All right, gentlemen. Well, let's jump in here. Well, let's recap last week a little bit because while it wasn't necessarily the strongest field, the storylines were fantastic at PGA National. Jack Nicklaus course, the Bear Trap, probably the hardest finishing holes I think on the PGA Tour, at least some of them. But talk about the final two battle between our guys. I had it in front of me now. Chris Kirk,
and Cole.
and Eric
Yeah.
Cole.
Yep.
I mean, these two guys were grinders on the mini tour. Chris Kirk hasn't won since 2017, I think.
It's been 8 years.
Yeah.
8 years.
Yep.
He overcame alcoholism.
That's right.
Yeah, he took a year off he really struggled with that. And so, he's sober and
4 years sober.
Yeah.
I mean, one thing to win when you're leaning on a chemical dependency, right? It probably affected him negatively at times on the golf course. At times, maybe I'm not going to say it helps, but sometimes guys find that sweet spot when they drink or use or whatever. But for him to overcome that and then win again sober, that's pretty
pretty
impressive.
story. And then you got Eric Cole, who's a Corn Ferry grinder. I mean, the guy. I mean, this was. I don't even think he gets many PGA Tour starts, and he found a way all the way up. Was he Monday qualifier? He was a Monday qualifier, wasn't he?
I don't think he was a Monday qualifier.
No, he wasn't.
But it comes from parents that are
Gerard was
talented in the game, right? His mom played LPGA, and then his dad had
Laura
a stint.
Baugh.
One more time.
Laura Baugh is his mother.
Oh, I thought you swore at me.
No, I said Laura Baugh.
That's enough, Chuck.
There were she had posters.
What do you mean?
There were posters of Laura Baugh they made back when she played. Posters.
That's the bar. Once there's posters, you made it.
I mean, back in the day.
Do they still do posters?
I don't know.
Yeah,
NDSU
I'm sure.
men's and women's golf do a poster.
Yeah.
The only poster I remember of an LPGA player was Jan Stevenson.
See, that was Laura Baugh was the leading up to the Jan Stevenson poster.
Okay.
Yeah.
Laura Baugh opened the doors for the
Exactly.
I'm with you.
Exactly. She was a trendsetter.
Okay.
And Eric, he's like 32, 34, and he looks young. I mean,
He does.
He does look young. Yeah.
And they were talking about he's a diabetic.
Okay.
And that he's a tiny guy.
Yeah,
too.
he is.
Mhm.
But do you see his golf swing?
Both those
Yeah.
guys have fantastic golf swings. I mean, Chris Kirk's might be like one of the smoothest ones I've seen.
You can take a nap during his swing. It is so smooth.
Yeah.
No, it's so effortless, but he bombs it.
Yeah.
So there was plenty. I mean, even though it wasn't marquee names, when you start to uncover their stories,
Yeah.
You had guys. The Monday qualifier, I forget the fellow's name that probably
I
finished
think it was
fourth.
Gerard. Yeah.
Gerard, yeah. Monday qualifies. That's not an easy deal, right?
It's his
What do you
biggest
suppose?
paycheck of his life. Yeah.
Is it like $1,000 to Monday qualify? At least?
Yeah, it's crazy expensive to not win anything, right? You're paying in to have a chance to make money.
Yeah, it's not necessarily the route guys should be leaning on to
Not-
get on tour.
No, I mean, you have to, I mean, because a lot of these Monday qualifiers, you have to shoot 64, 63, 62 to get in, and then you have to play equally as well that whole week to
So-
make a paycheck.
So literally life-changing for this young man.
Yeah.
Yes,
Didn't he-
absolutely.
300 and some thousand, 400 for the
It
Gerard,
sounds
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yep. I think it's
Good for him.
like 4.
And he's in this week.
Yes.
At Bay Hill.
That's right.
And same with Eric Cole, and I mean this was his biggest paycheck as well, and that was off the top of my head I don't
There's a
remember,
lot.
but it was a lot.
So if you're Eric Cole and you've never done well on the tour, haven't even gotten many starts, probably, are you? I know he's upset or disappointed he didn't win, but you put yourself in his shoes.
Right.
I mean, you got to be pretty
So
satisfied.
for the
with
listener,
second
For the
place,
listeners,
right?
they went extra holes,
Playoffs.
went to a playoff. Was he leading coming down to the
no, he was one
No,
back
he
and
was
Kirk
one back.
bogeyed
That's
the
right.
18th.
Oh, he almost hit the Honda.
Yeah,
Yeah,
off the rocks.
That would have been
You
something.
get to take. Do you get to take the car home if you
Break a
damage it?
windshield.
It's like the hole-in-one contest. But if you hit it out in the middle of a pond over there, you get to take it.
So sorry. So he goes extra holes and he loses in the playoff. Great performance. To your question, how disappointed are you? I mean, obviously you're disappointed, but
As a competitor, you are, but I think as in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
you look at your career.
Yeah.
You can't be disappointed in
Right.
it. It's kind of like this one stings, but hopefully it sounds like both these guys have a great head on their shoulders, so they're able to see a big picture of everything.
Yep.
I think that's honestly what the mini tour life does to a guy. It really puts things in perspectives when things start to click,
sure.
because you look back at what you had to do to get to where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, things were a lot tougher than a playoff loss at the Honda. You know,
Well,
that's where I'd hope he'd be anyway. But
when you talk about how that came to happen, Kirk had a 1-stroke lead on the 18th. It's par 5. And you go, well, why didn't you just lay up? He really thought. I listened to his interview. He thought Cole was going to birdie.
Okay.
So he said, I need to birdie to win.
Sure.
A par ties. And
I don't mind the play because for those that didn't watch, he went for it. It's over water, the par 5 over water, and he had to hit a hybrid, and it looked maybe a little swipey. He just didn't catch all of it, but it was right at the pin. And I like the play. I mean, I like being aggressive, especially if you're comfortable in that move, right? If you can just go, yep, I'm grabbing and I'm going for it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like it. It's just execution.
It's just got to be long left.
Sure. Right. Yeah, you got to pull it.
No, left.
Right?
Right.
Left.
Long left. And that's where Cole was. And he didn't have, it's a different, when you're under pressure, every chip becomes, it's not just a chip. But he just hit that chip a little too hard, rolled through the green, and made par.
I watched it.
So I thought it was compelling. I enjoyed it from the sport, from knowing the stories going on behind the scenes.
Well, and that's where I think that's what the PGA and fields like that last one where, you don't have the big names, but lean on those stories because it is life-changing stuff for these guys.
Yep.
Where like a Rory McIlroy winning ones is not going to be like life-changing for him, right? It's a great story, but it's not life-changing. These guys, I mean, it opens up the possibility, right? Kirk's going to play in the Masters now. You talk about the opportunity there, right? And things just start to snowball, and that's what you got to lean on in stories like that. So. Great week to look at from a viewer standpoint. How about, gentlemen, how we do in the DFS standpoint?
Well, I was going to ask, were you one of the only 5 guys watching Live this week, or?
I didn't watch it.
I didn't even turn it on.
Yeah.
No, I saw some highlights on Twitter. I think it's I just have no desire from what I tuned in last year a little bit when they did, and I don't enjoy their broadcast team.
Yeah.
It's manufactured. To me, like they're trying too hard.
I've not watched a second of it, but I've been watching the Twitter feed and the feedback, and that's the comments I've been seeing. LJ just seems like they're trying too hard. And
I will say there's a lot of golf that gets broadcast. I was watching on YouTube, so there's no commercials. So there's a lot of golf. You're seeing a lot of golf, which is one thing that the PGA Tour struggles with a little bit when they get into crunch time, and all of a sudden they're playing through with a commercial, and you miss a legit birdie or something. But now with Liv's CW deal, I mean, they've got ads going. So now it's like, okay, kind of take that away. And I'm not super interested in the team aspect for professional golf. That's a college thing for me. So I have no desire to watch it. I mean, these guys, they're playing in the majors. Some of these guys that go to Live, that's when I'll watch them. Yeah. That's when I'll watch.
Yeah. And Charles Howell won?
He did.
Like by 5?
A lot.
There
was a big gap. It wasn't necessarily competitive.
Charles can't win on the PGA Tour.
No. That's what's crazy about this. And then Liv, I follow him on Twitter, and I don't know if they're joking, but they said Pat Perez, top 10 player right now.
Oh my gosh.
In the country, in the world.
Pat Perez.
Pat Perez. I don't think he's ever been a top 10 player.
Pat Perez. You saw that too, LJ?
Yeah.
Top 10. What?
He must have a great agent.
Yeah.
Get him top 10.
So anyway, it's smoke and mirrors over there a little bit. I have no desire to tune in. I see in DFS you can play Live
I have
events. I have not dabbled, but I have no desire.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think I saw America's Funniest Pets.
Yeah.
Got more viewers on CW than the Live Golf. So
well, and I don't want to overgeneralize, but I've been watching a little bit of that Full Swing on Netflix.
Yep.
Which you guys been on it for a while.
Love
I
it.
hadn't.
Yep.
If listeners out there, if you haven't tuned into that, it's really good. I mean, you start these players are people.
That's the main thing about it. I will say, like we talked about the Formula One series last week, too, and it is different. The same producers, but it's different in that like there's not necessarily the high tension, heart pounding drama.
Yeah.
But as someone that watches golf, to see these superstars idol or humanized.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
Don't want to
talk-
ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it, but
right?
I mean the Tony Finau deal
That might be my favorite. Yeah.
almost brought me to tears.
Yep. Favorite episode.
I mean, so my point was, and I don't want to overgeneralize, but there seems to be a type of person that's gone to live and a type of person that's stayed with the PGA Tour. That's probably
It's pretty close. You know, the one that, you know, if you can say give respect to or whatever, but you know, Dustin Johnson seemed to own it really. I mean, you talk about guys and their reasons of going.
Yeah,
like
that's a
he
good
was
point.
saying, I'm gonna play less golf and I'm gonna get paid more money, and that's why I'm going.
And he said, anybody, if you were told, Lucas,
In
you
your
can work
job.
less,
Yep.
and we're going to pay you more,
Why wouldn't you?
Why wouldn't you do that? That was
And-
his logic.
And
It
that's,
was.
and that's fair, right? And I believe he's going to do that. The other guys that say it, they're not doing it, right? Patrick Reed, that was his reason. I'm going to play less, and I'm going to get paid more money. He ended up last year. He played more than he did at the PGA Tour. So it's like, okay, if you're going to use that as an excuse, do it. You know, don't just do it. So I think Dustin, in my mind, it probably made more sense as far as like he wanted to play less. He achieved things. He checked a whole bunch of boxes on the PGA Tour, and he wants to just kind of ride off.
Yeah.
So
With that being said, I don't have a problem with the guy. You know, if that's the best decision for him and his family, by all means, go knock yourself out if you have an opportunity. I might not watch it, but I'm not going to stand in his way.
at this point, I don't think those players care if you watch it. They're getting paid.
Right.
Exactly. Guaranteed money.
So
don't
if they
care.
have guaranteed money, where's the incentive for them to work on their like to be razor sharp?
Right.
So that's why they need
Majors?
to get into the majors. That'd be
Yeah,
the only
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So anyway,
All right.
we better get into this week here. Back on the elevated event schedule.
Are we going to
Um,
wrap up last week?
Oh yeah, we got to get into. last
Nah,
week,
we don't
so-
have to.
Yeah, we
Let's
do.
talk
Let's
about-
get into it. Let's see.
So I had the GOAT.
Yep.
What
What do
I
you
think it's short lived. So do I go first with the GOAT?
Yes,
you
Okay.
do.
So quickly, I had 3 players miss the cut. Matt Kuchar, not even close. Well, he played better the second day. And then my boys, Russell Knox and Brian Gay, did not get it done. +5, +9. So you get 3 people missing the cut. Left me with Padraig Harrington. The average age of my team, I might have got an award for that because these guys, I bet I was bumping close to 50 years old. Anyways, I had 240 points. I
Wow.
finished 22,194th out of 23,000 people. That's
You're where we weren't playing worst ball.
that's
right?
not easy to do, you guys.
Oh, I got you.
what? Oh, really?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
I made
Okay.
a rookie mistake. You know, the week before Mark did the ultimate rookie of not hitting submit.
Didn't submit. Yep.
Well, you always need to wake up in the morning and check your team.
oh, there's an out.
There was Alex Noren decided, you know what, I'm going to sleep in and not play.
He pulled a Kuchar.
He didn't even show up.
He played a Vegas
Oh,
Kuchar.
No.
Yeah, imagine my surprise at noon when I check my lineups. I'm like, what do you mean withdraw? Alex Noren didn't even show.
Oh.
Yeah,
we,
that
were,
hurts.
we were high on him too.
I was high on him. So I have rookie mistake noted next to Alex Noren. So for the listeners, don't do as I did. Always wake up that morning and look at your lineup just
Check
to make
it.
sure they're still
Yep.
playing.
Yeah.
And then I had 2 missed cuts. Nick Hardy and Buckley. Total 238.50.
Oh, so another
Brutal.
for sure another second place finish in my locker.
I'm just gonna take
LJ
this
takes-
guy.
takes the
Wow,
Is that a
I
fact?
did not
Terrible.
think that.
Yeah, happy for you.
What was
That's
your
me.
points, LJ?
354.5.
Did you have a miss?
I had 2 miss, Matt Kuchar and
Yeah.
Grayson Sig. So Kuch was a surprise to me. I didn't think he was going to play like that. And in Sig, I mean, he was my value pick to beat all value picks. So no surprise there. And but I had Shane Lowry,
Yes.
who played well. Bromlett was leading after the first day. And Byung Hung An played well.
Mhm.
He had a nice solid, and then I had Ben Griffin in there, who's really solid. So
Well, good
I'll
for
take
you.
that win.
Yeah, good
I'll
for you.
take it.
You know, Cooch,
I'm
he
happy
shot
for you.
75, but then he shot 69. So that's the margin of error, right? One bad round and you are
See ya.
missing the
Packing.
cut.
He's driving up the road for this week.
Yep. Yeah, so this week we're still in Florida. We're at the Arnold Palmer Invitational presented by MasterCard. That's the full
Do we
title
get
if you see that.
do
but
we get a kickback for you saying that? Because that
I
sounded
would
official.
hope so. No. So we're at Bay Hill. This is Arnold Palmer's course, right?
Great field, great
And
course.
We had the opportunity to go play it. Was that a couple years ago now? Doesn't matter. I mean,
Yep,
whatever.
January of 22.
And I think you said it, but it bears repeating. So the golf course almost doesn't feel like it should host a PGA Tour event. It's like it's an old school club that you just, if you didn't know anything, you'd walk in and you're just kind of,
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, this is a nice course.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe it hosts a PGA Tour event, but it's a fantastic golf course. I mean, it creates some great stories.
Such a good golf course.
It's very well designed, and then I think it's interesting, having looked at the history of the tournament, the variations in the final scores, the winning scores. And it's like last year was 5 under par, Scotty Scheffler. The year before that, Bryson won it at 11 under.
Right.
And then it was 7 under the year before that, So it's like all these different, they can set up the course so different. And
Rough and wind. I think rough
wind
and
plays into it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The rough, thicker usually. Yep.
I think I saw they got it at 3 inches for this week. But getting into the golf course, we got Bermuda greens on there. And it's long, 7,400 yards, what they play at. That whole 6 is
Yikes.
that horseshoe hole.
The par 5.
The par 5 where Bryson tried to drive it over the,
Yep.
I think it was like a 500-yard drive or something like that, something crazy like that. But yeah, there's some good golf being played. My claim to fame, when we played it, I birdied 1 in 18 from the tips.
Wow.
I don't think I shared this story on the podcast, but when we got there, we got you have to have a 4 caddy with you, and you remember this, Mark?
I do remember. I was there.
Yeah. So
Sorry, did you call him a 4 caddy?
4 caddy.
FORE.
Why?
Because he goes ahead and spots balls. So and then he
This
meets
is a
you up at a
thing?
green.
Yeah, the high end clubs, Chuck. You wouldn't know anything.
I
about
wouldn't
it.
know anything about this.
Have a 4 caddy.
caddy.
Four
Yeah, so
caddy.
that's how the word 4 came to be. in
Four.
golf. You were yelling
You
to the
yell to the
spotter for 4.
If you're about to smuck him with the ball,
Yep, they'd yell 4 as towards the forward caddy, and so that it stuck.
4 caddy.
So
Anyway, our 4 caddy, Keith. Anyway, he's a great guy.
okay.
But we get to hole 1, and he goes, "Where are you guys thinking of playing?" And I was like, I think I'll play back here. The greens, it's the tips. And I had my NDSU golf stuff on, and I assumed he saw a couple swings on the range anyway. And he goes, well, you sure about that? We usually reserve those. Those are scratch players, and some of our better members play back there. I was like, yeah, I'll give it a try. I'm gonna give it a try. And then I go out, I birdie hole 1. I hit it to like 3 feet on the first hole, pipe a drive, and then he felt more confident with me being back there. And then I birdied hole 18, walked it in. He gave me a great read.
Great way to start.
that was
man.
a great birdie on 18. 18's not easy.
I walked
at
it in.
all.
It's great. I'm gonna send
You
a
had some
picture
other
to Kyle.
birdies too. You probably had 3 others.
2. I know 2 other 8,
Wow.
8 and 11. I stuck it on 8, and then 11 I pulled a 50 degree to like 2 feet. But
It's a good track.
it's a great track.
It's a good
It's 17 is a fantastic par 3. I think I played it out of the water. Maybe no, it wasn't 8 that I birdied.
It was like 220. 17's 220. That's
I
what
birdied 7 and 11. Sorry.
the length of the golf course is. What's amazing, and those
Yeah.
guys will still throw wedges around like nobody's business.
Yeah,
you know,
crazy.
they just bomb it. So it's always fun to play somewhere and then see the tour event.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was there. I made birdie on that.
I took my shoes off on hole 8. That's why I remember it. I was playing it out of the water. So anyways. Yeah, just some key stats that I got, Chuck. I got tee to green. You got to be able to keep the ball in play. We talked about the wind with the weather. There's a weather variable in there. And because it's a longer course, I got bombers and guys that play well on long courses.
Yep.
And then talk about Bermuda greens too. So I don't know if you had anything else in there.
You
but-
touched on it. Yeah, I think all par 3s are 200 plus. Maybe one of them was 190 something.
Yep.
So long par 3s, right? Bombers you touched on, course history. Those that tend to play well here over the years typically continue that. And those that don't, like Shane Lowry has missed the cut every year.
Oh no.
Good thing he's not on my team.
44 of the top 50 players. I wonder if Pat Perez must not be. He's the 6th. And then Scotty Chef's the defending champ. And if you guys know, this year he's defended already.
Yeah.
At the Phoenix.
Yep.
Yeah.
McIlroy's 8 starts, no miscuts. How about that little nugget?
How about the big boy and John Rahm? He's back.
Yep. Johnny Rahm's there too.
He's,
So anyhow,
I think he's 7 for 7 in cuts and 7 top 10s.
one approach might be with the wind, because it tends to be windy here. Just go straight foreign players. They play well in wind.
European guys.
European
guys that
guys.
play over. I
Yep.
like that.
Yeah,
Keep it low. They like the wind.
I like that. Yeah.
Anywho,
It's
I'm
not
not
bad.
doing that.
Who's picking first?
I am. I'm the goat of the week.
Bring it on, LJ.
All right, here we go. So I got John Rahm on my team.
Of course.
I don't see any way. And I feel like he's starting to be polarized, right? You're going to start to see guys that don't put him on his squad because it's how many times can he do it? You know?
I like that. Yep.
And then I went with Will Zalatoris, who
Easy.
he fits a lot of these key stats as far as how he plays the game. And I like his game. I like
So
it a
those
lot.
are some big ones.
Big
You
ones.
must be
Yep.
going low here to.
Not crazy low.
Okay.
I got Jason Day at 8,500. I'm a big Jason Day guy.
He's trending.
Yep. And then I went Tom Hoagie.
Mm-hmm.
He's had a couple weeks off.
He's played well.
And he's a value. He's a $7,300.
Yep.
He's played well there.
Yep.
And he's a great ball striker. Plays well in the wind.
I saw his name on the locker there.
Oh,
yeah, didn't she send him
Yeah,
a
we were
picture
in
there?
we were in the locker room after a round of golf playing rummy,
Yep, Gin Rummy.
and his name was on the locker.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. Then I went back to Joseph Bromlett. He played well last week. He led after the first day. I think he's going to keep it rolling. And rounding it out with Emiliano Grillo, who he's 8-11 cuts, 2 top 10s, and decent fantasy points per game. So that was my low ball at 66 was Grillo.
Have you seen his history at this course in particular?
I haven't.
Nope.
I
Okay.
didn't get all the way to his history, but he's played well in the past. Genesis, he made the cut, and has been making some cuts. So felt good with that lineup there, boys.
All right, that's solid.
Not bad.
That's solid. You finished third with that. I've never been more excited about a lineup than I have for this week.
Did you say
Sabatini.
that like 2 weeks ago?
Well, now I'm more excited.
Okay.
Love it.
I've got course knowledge on my side
Yep.
and some other variables. Okay, Scheffler defending.
Going
He's on my
Scotty,
team.
I like it.
The guy is he can't be denied.
How do you
He's-
like it?
He's
Yeah.
unbelievable. Another guy that's played well here. He's 6 for 6 on cuts. Terrell Hatton.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
His course history
Yep,
is solid.
Yep.
Last year, Hovland, Victor Hovland was in the mix.
Solid,
There's
yes.
another 9 for 9 cuts, 3 top 10s. Got Hoagie. He's the value. We talked about him. I got a guy that idolized Arnold Palmer and really tries to embody what Arnie does with his fans, what Arnie did with his fans. Ricky Fowler.
Nice.
You son of a gun.
Ricky is out, and he's
Look at
told
this.
me,
I'm not. I shouldn't even look.
or not
Sorry.
told me.
He's told you.
Well,
Now
Ricky
this
and
is
I-
next level info.
Dang. Ricky and I spoke, and he admits his game is coming around.
Oh, yeah.
So he's feeling
working
good.
with Butch Harmon. He's
Feeling good.
and I think he holds Arnie up here on a pedestal. And then based on full swing,
Yeah.
I'm going Damon.
Yes, Joel Damon.
Joel
I like
Damon.
that
Well, he's
pick.
got to care about this round now. He's got to.
Or does he?
I
Or
think
does he?
does. I love it.
Or
Couple
does
white-
he?
I love Joel.
That's
couple
my
white claws.
flyer. He's my 6,800. I'm like,
I love Joel
I
Damon.
like that guy. So that's my
BJ
team.
needs a 78th ranked player or whatever
That's
you
what he
said.
said.
And he just didn't care.
Yeah.
I love it.
Somebody's got to be the 70th best player in the world. It might as well be me.
But the stuff he's overcome too. I mean,
I like
we don't
that.
want to ruin it for
Nope,
folks
nope,
that
for
haven't
listeners.
watched.
We got to
but
get going. So
Okay,
Chuck,
I'm
you
going.
gotta get through it.
Yeah, you guys. It's like you look. Okay. I'm going McIlroy. I like that each of us have a top
Mhm.
dog, but somebody different.
Good, yeah.
So I'm going Rory. I like his 8 for 8. I also went Hatton.
Okay. Yep.
Ty Hatton plays well there. Then I have Day.
Yeah.
Everybody in DFS is going to have Day, though.
I don't.
Do you think so?
Yes, he'll be the highest owned player,
Okay.
hands down.
Let it be said. I mean, like a month ago, I was on it.
You
No,
were
I know you were.
early
You were
his
on it
back.
before it was trendy to be on it.
Hawaii.
Yeah.
you were there.
Okay. Then I also have Ricky.
Okay.
Yep. And I have Hoagie.
Yep.
But my wild card here is Keegan Bradley.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yep. Keegan had a miscut last week, but prior to that, he's been playing really well. He lost like 6 strokes putting last week. He's still striking the ball. He hits the long irons very well. Keegan, watch this guy might win this.
Guys, I'm excited. This is going to be a fun week.
This is
I'm
gonna be a fun
excited to watch the tournament. And then on the other side, just quickly to touch on it before we go, we've got the Puerto Rico Open, which is an opposite of field event. So another great opportunity for some storylines. It makes a lot of these guys' career when they go out and win this event, because they win this event, they get into the Masters and that whole deal. It's still a PGA event, but opposite field. So it's going to be some great to watch. I mean, 2 tournaments this week. It's going to be great.
Check lineups before first tee time. And now they're in Florida, so it's earlier. It's early. I learned that the hard way. 4 a.m. is when it locks Thursday morning.
4 a.m. Check your lineups.
4
Check
a.m.
your lineups.
Yep.
All right. We're going to call that an episode. It was a great episode. Thanks again,
boys.
Chris
Nice
Geiss.
job.
And we'll hope to see you next time. Thanks.